Welcome everybody, Spencer here from Verge Motorcycles at the Verge Motorcycles factory, in fact, in our little makeshift coffee shop and conversation centre, we'll call it for now. I'm obviously not alone, I'm joined by Marc Travels.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have a little chat, find out about his travels on the Verge TS. I imagine a lot of you have been following it on YouTube. So we're going to ask him loads of questions about the journey, about his experiences, and also, of course, about the TS Pro. So without that said, let's just get straight into it. So let's start from the very top.
Yeah.
You know, what kind of attracted you to Verge Motorcycles and the TS, and how did this all get started? What was the motivation for it?
So I found out about the bike, I think it was like 2 years ago when I first saw it on the internet somewhere. I was like, oh my God, what is this?
I am the rush. I'm the roaring zen and graceful beast, leaving the past in the dust. Come with me, right into the fray.
Like, what? That looks awesome. And but I was already on my world journey, so like I didn't really think about other bikes or like getting another bike. But then like I came back to Europe and a few months back I came back. I had to ship my old bike from Malaysia to Berlin because it was broken. So I came back and then I had this invitation to the ABR festival, like one of the biggest festivals in the UK, just to do a talk and like to talk about my journey and stuff. But I didn't have a motorcycle to go there, and I didn't want to fly there. Would just suck, you know, to go without a bike to a motorcycle festival. So I reached out to Verge Motorcycles, and then you guys actually replied. That was cool, and and then like a month later, I already sat on the bike. So that was pretty cool. The weather, I must say, like I had just a few rainy days on my whole 2.5 year world journey, so I'm always quite lucky. But yeah, like I had situations where it then was really brutal. Like there's one famous clip on the internet where I drove my old bike like through a river because I had to. There was no other way. The road just turned into a river of mud, and it's just like I had to go through. That was quite crazy. I'm pretty happy I didn't have to do that again.
I can speak from my motorcycling experience. I've not experienced that in the UK. No. So, yeah.
I mean, the roads in the UK, that was actually quite the test for the bike, I would say, because the roads are like, having traveled all of Europe basically on motorcycles, like I've been probably to every country in Europe on different motorcycles, obviously. I must say, and I don't want to offend anybody, but the roads in the UK must be among the worst roads in the whole of Europe. It's just, it's the quality of the roads. It's just super bumpy. I forgot that. I was so spoiled in Thailand. Buttery smooth roads everywhere.
Tell us about your riding experience touring on an electric motorcycle, and also some highlights and things you've noticed, especially about Europe, the time you've had here. Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, I mean, sure. I mean, it's a whole different thing, obviously. Like if you have a BMW GS, you know, and it goes 500 kilometers on one tank, you know, I mean, that's obviously more convenient than like going 200 kilometers and then having to fill up your bike. Right, so that's obvious. That said, always depends on what kind of bike you're riding, obviously. If you ride on a bike like that, I mean, and I'm well aware of that, like a sport motorcycle is not really made for touring and for traveling, and probably I will be the only person in the world that will tour cross countries on the bike like this. Mm-hmm. Like very few would do it. So obviously, you can't sit on that bike for 500 kilometers without having a break. Ah, shit. Ah, so lucky. Oh my God. Yeah. For me, it was now in Europe, it was like, I would go like 100 kilometers or 150 kilometers anywhere, and I wouldn't like need a break, you know, like, and I would just go, instead of a gas station, I would just go to like a charging station. And like here in Europe, they're freaking everywhere, like everywhere. Like I know people don't realize it and people think like, oh no, there's no charging infrastructure, there's nothing. But in fact, once you have it on your radar, you start seeing them everywhere. Like just the moment you have to start looking for them, they are there everywhere. And you have these apps that show you every charging station, like within like, I don't know, like wherever you are. So now with this bike, it was actually like, there's another thing that people think like you have to plan, like every day you have to plan really. Like I don't plan anything ever, like never. Like even when I went around the world, I never plan anything. Like
go with the flow.
In the morning, like it would be actually really like that. Sometimes it would be like, I don't even know where to go now. Like I don't even know like, oh fuck, where do I go? So, and then sometimes it would even help me to like, oh, there's a charging station. Oh, maybe that will be my first stop, right? Like, okay, so yeah, let's do that. And then I'll figure out on the way where I want to go, what I want to do. So, because I didn't really have like a time frame or like a specific, like I
Schedule,
only have 2 weeks for this trip. So for me, it's a bit different anyway. So yeah, but with this bike, it was like, I would just go drive it down to like 20% or something like that. And I would just open the app. It's like, oh, where's the charging station? Oh, they're like 5 kilometers from here. Oh, like 10 kilometers from here. Like that was actually a real game changer to me. Because there's a difference between AC chargers and DC chargers, which is like the AC charging, the level 2 chargers, they were like, sure, they were relevant when the car started, you know, and they all had this type 2 and like they would all basically slow charge, you know, or just this 3-phase charge. But now that every car charges with DC charging, like the old charging station will slowly disappear because nobody will use them anymore. That's the big problem. And I saw that already coming, like when I was in Asia with the other bike. So it was quite the relief for me to just see, okay, whatever charger it is here, like I can access anything. Mm-hmm. So, and that was really kind of cool. Plus, you don't have to bring an extra cable because
that's true.
In Europe, it's the case, like people steal cables and stuff. They just cut them off. So that's a thing. That is not a thing in Asia. Nobody does that. Like they don't steal stuff. Like that's right. People,
that's for the next conversation on podcast. To talk about theft in these countries.
So that's the thing. Like anyway, like but with these big charging stations, you always have a cable, and you can just plug it in, and then it just starts up. And
what kind of experience did you have over those chargers? Were they just in the middle of nowhere, or were they with other places? Like what was on your trip? What was like one that stood out, like a charging location?
Yeah. Well, on this trip, on the Verge, like I had this one thing in France. It was so funny. Like it was in the middle of nowhere, a charging station, and then next to the charging station was like a automated pizza shop. like there was no people. Like you could just go up there, type into the display, I want a margarita or whatever, and then just
no way.
Yeah, like right next to the.
Was it like a microwave or was it like an oven?
No, it was like a big house. Like you couldn't see in there. Look at that. That's pretty cool. A 24-hour pizza station. That's pretty cool. Like there was no window, it was just a house, and then with like a display, and then you just like, and the pizza comes out.
I haven't seen one of those. Maybe some of our French followers can
they would
comment in the comments below, like about where these places are, because I wouldn't mind trying one of those.
Yeah, I mean, cool. I like that, and now and like on all these major tourist attractions, they have a charging station.
Yeah, that's true.
Like in the UK, Ireland, everywhere. Like they have.
And did you try like a varied? Did you stick to one brand? Did you try Tesla ones? Like what kind of experience did you have?
I should have actually tried Tesla ones just for trying it out, but I never really got to it. Like because, like I wouldn't look for a specific one because then at some point I kind of knew, okay, every charging station works. And then it would be nice if they have like a lot of them have now the cashless payment. You just tap like, sure, they're all a bit different. Like some of them you have to plug in first, some of them you have to pay first and then plug in. Yeah, you have to figure that out. But usually you just hold your phone there, grab it, plug it in, start charging. Yeah. Like, it's just a game changer. I remember when I started like 3 years ago, like it was just, you had to install a freaking app for every fucking charger. Like that was just like, what? What are you doing? Like,
so it's good to know that chargers are like catching up with our actual needs.
No, it evolved. Like it evolved 100%. Like the 3 years I was gone now and coming back now, something changed really. But also I can access different charging stations now. So, but yeah, back then there was no cashless. They all wanted, you had to like give your father's birth name, whatever, like, and everything. It's really,
name your third dog.
Whatever. Like, I didn't like, data collection or whatever. But now I think they regulated now in the EU that you have to be able to pay with card just everywhere. Just at the gas station, right? It makes sense.
So charging's been a breeze.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Not really it was a short but intense experience of Europe.
Yeah.
But then you're on the UK.
Yeah.
So you obviously went to, if you've watched the videos, you went to Wales, you went to Scotland, you went to Ireland, you went to England. You pretty much got around quite a lot, and more than what most British riders would see.
Probably. And then it was like, because like, like for me that is always like an interest in fact, like charging and all this, like it was always like an interesting topic for my videos and stuff. Now with this bike, still interesting, but also a little bit because it always works, like, and then you're like, okay, maybe it's a bit boring. So I did I tried to make it a bit interesting for me as well. And like for example, like I wanted to do the NC 500, the North Coast 500 in Scotland.
Famous road,
very famous, like in every, like many bikers also in the UK, like they like dream of doing that. And many didn't even do it yet. So I was like, okay, I want to do that. Interesting for you guys, if it's even possible on the electric bike. It should be. So here, that's the NC 500. It starts in Inverness and goes all around here. I haven't put everything in there yet. If all goes well, in 24 hours, I'll be back in Inverness. And then I did it, the whole thing in 24 hours. So, and then I set myself the goal of like, I want to do it in 24 hours, like 500 miles in 24 hours with sightseeing and like with charging. Like, I mean, obviously you can.
You did do the NC 500.
Yeah, and no, but I mean, I almost did it in 24 hours. Like, I think without filming, because I filmed the whole thing, obviously, like with flying drones and all this stuff, like. So I did it in, I think it was 27 hours. Wow. Like I started in Inverness and then being back in Inverness. But technically, the North Coast 500 basically would have ended in Applecross, right? Because like then you just go back to Inverness another 40 miles, like, and there's no North Coast route. Like,
so you did the Marc Travels additional.
Yeah, right. Because I wanted to go to circle, right? So full circle, I wanted to stop at where I started. But if just the North Coast 500, I basically did it in 24 hours. But obviously there was also charging involved, and I charge at really cool places, like very scenic places, because like I said, they put them now anywhere, and it's not a big deal anymore. And people in Europe actually don't really need to worry about charging anymore, or finding places to charge. And to be honest, I also did that. Like I did some ride outs with friends that I met on the road, like. And we did stuff like just going around the place. Like they would show me their house routes, like
the more local kind of
riding, where I just would plug in at night the bike and then just start in the morning with a fresh full tank. And then we did like 100 miles, 120 miles, and then we were done anyway with riding. And I would be back home and plug it in again. I didn't even have to worry about charging the bike really. So, and I reckon that is what most people with a bike like that gonna do. They're going to do that. They go out for a ride with their mates, Like,
sounds like you had like a really varied experience of not only doing, the popular NC 500s, but you actually met up with people who know you through your YouTube channel and through friendships and experienced things locally too.
Yes, absolutely. And that was actually the coolest thing ever, because also, like I could also show people the bike that really have nothing to do with electric bikes. So that was actually the coolest experience.
What kind of reactions did you get?
What's that?
It's electric.
It's electric, yeah? Because that's the motor,
Yeah. So
yeah. Is
that started now?
Yeah, it has started now. It's on now.
It's on.
Yeah.
Great brand is it?
Verge motorcycles is from Finland. Cool, right?
Fantastic.
Everybody loves this bike. That's another aspect of this bike in particular. Like, it's like a big conversation starter.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
wherever I park up, like people just come. Like,
And it goes deep because you see it and it's like, right, it looks different.
yeah.
And then you go onto the motor and then you go into it's electric. And then
Yes.
I imagine you go down a million different rabbit holes with people.
Yeah, every time I stop, basically, I would explain that's the motor. Well, I always did that, right? But that's the motor, and then people are like, oh, how does it work? And like, like the first questions I would always get is like, what's the range, and how fast can it go?
Is that electric?
That's electric, yeah.
Yeah, it's got big electric rotors. That's why I said.
1,000 Newton meter torque,
Wow.
137 horsepower.
How fast we had it?
Well, they cut it off at 127 miles per hour.
You can't override that.
You can, of course. You can override everything. There's always a way.
So of all of that,
Yeah.
give us one of the highlights for you of the whole trip.
Well, like for me, like a personal highlight was when I went to Jono Groats, because 3 years ago, that was my first electric bike achievement, is driving it from Germany, my home, like driving my other electric bike to Jono Groats.
Right.
Just to like basically see if it works and then start the big journey to Asia on the bike. And now I went back on this bike and it kind of felt like full circle.
Yeah, a
you
bit
know
of
what I mean?
reminiscing,
Yeah.
bit of...
Even though it was a different bike, but like it was also electric bike. So, and that was, for me, it was kind of that was a highlight definitely for me. And also doing the whole Wild Atlantic Way in Ireland was also an achievement for me, because I haven't done that last time. So that was quite cool. And just to see how easy it works, you know, like, and also I was traveling with a friend, you know, on a regular motorcycle, and there was not really an issue, you know, because people are always like afraid, oh, what if I ride in a group and blah, blah, blah. Does it even work with other people? And it's like, yeah, I mean, of course it works. And when you travel with your mates, right, they will not like leave you hanging just because you have like 20
Otherwise, they're
minutes.
probably not your mates.
But yeah, you probably need to find new mates, you know, like, so they will be okay with you charging your bike like 20 minutes. I mean, and I think in like 10 years, 20 years from now, nobody will even talk about it anymore, because there will be like, also the way of charging will improve, battery technology will be improved, you know. I mean, people have to realize this is now the start, you know, with electric bikes, you know. Could have been different because this is not new technology. Like they had electric motorcycle like 100 years ago, you know, like just a different
Porsche's
way.
first car was electric, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they just decided to go a different route because there's probably more money in it. you know?
Various ways.
Well, but still now we're just at the beginning from the shift, you know, like and just developing, making electric motorcycles the same way the normal regular motorcycles have been for like, I don't know, 80 years or whatever, you know, and it just takes time, you know. And because I do these videos online and like social media and stuff like that, like I get a lot of direct feedback, you know, from people. And the thing is, like, people are always very, very hard on the electric bike, I feel like, which I don't understand, because like every regular bike breaks and has faults and has like, it's just normal, right? But the moment something goes wrong here, or like something doesn't work the way like it should be right away, you know, like people are always just like, oh, this sucks, you know, this, you know, I would never. My favorite comment on YouTube is like, and this is why I would never buy an electric motorcycle. Whatever happens, like the tiniest thing, like this kind of comment would always come, and it's like, dude, man, like in 10 years, like you will not even like think about all this stuff. If you're into motorcycles and you don't mind so much bumpy roads, like you should definitely check out the UK. Like I've been there, I mean, I always loved the UK. Like I've been to the UK plenty of times before even motorcycle traveling. So I always loved the UK, and I'm always a bit sad leaving again, you know. So yeah, I'll definitely come back for sure. Yeah.
Even more endorsements for the UK. Love it. We'll make sure we'll have to tag Wales, Scotland, and England travel boards.
Yeah, and also like I got to go like on a helicopter ride in Wales. How much is a helicopter like that?
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
More than a house.
More than a house.
Section here, in there, and then you pull this one.
We had this beautiful flight over Wales, you know, and for me it felt almost like being back in the big mountains, you know, in Asia or somewhere like in the Himalayas or whatever. It's just cool to not see like houses or whatever. And just
I'm probably going to get grilled in the comments, but I've never actually been to the Pico Lake District, so I'm going to get grilled in the.
You have to do more riding.
We can add that to the amount of things that Spencer says that people laugh at. From Marc's videos as well.
Spencer's not just a great mechanic; he's also a well-experienced motorcyclist.
True. So let's move on to actually V.
I called it V, the bike, because I felt like I have to give it a name, you know, because like many people give their bikes a name.
Yeah.
I never really did that before, but now with the videos and because I like my old bike, I gave her a name and like I said, okay, probably. Good thing to do.
So when we mention V, we're mentioning the TS Pro.
Yeah.
So onto the sort of, you know, specifics about the motorcycle. Give me your top 3 things that, you know, you really liked and you really enjoyed.
So obviously, like I said before, like the sheer power of the bike and the acceleration is just like something you haven't got on any other bike. Oh my God, the acceleration is just crazy. Quite a few electric bikes, and he also had a little spin on V, and he said the same thing. Like he's like, that's probably unlike everything I've ever been on before.
Any mortal can you struggle to hold on? You know.
Yeah.
It's like, and if you're going fast and you open it a bit more, it's like, oh Jesus.
And when you say unlike, is it the punch of it? Is it just that it keeps going? Like, what about the...
Yeah, most people say it feels like a punch in the gut, right? Like, I would say like it starts quite smooth off, but like the thing is like the moment you're already riding, right? And you'll be probably at like 50 kilometers an hour or like even 100 kilometers an hour. You twist the throttle and then it just goes again, like it has that same punch again. And that's just like no other bike has that. I think that's probably the coolest thing about the bike, other than the looks. Like I personally like the looks a lot. I know it's probably polarizing and like there's probably people that hate the looks, but for me personally, like I look at the bike and I said that in the first time we met, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to look at it a little bit longer. So just
along with the request for red.
Yeah, I wanted the red.
Thing.
Yeah, I wanted the red because I just think it's the coolest color. But yeah, seeing now all the other colors is like there would be like 2 or 3 colors that I would also like probably. While the other, like the main other thing is the DC fast charging, which is like it's so important to have that. Okay guys, that was surprisingly easy. Like it worked with cashless payment. That is so cool. That wasn't a thing 3 years ago when I started. And now that I have DC charging, this bike charges so fast. That is cool. Like if you put out a bike now that like a serious bike which people can actually use like a regular ICE bike, like then it would have to have DC charging, in my opinion, because it's just the easiest, right? Like I never had this before that I would just like not think about nothing. I just like go whenever it's like 20% or even 10%, I would be like, okay, now it's time to charge, and then I just look, plug it in, half an hour, be back on the road. Sometimes I would even charge much longer because I would just do stuff or like have lunch. You know, you don't eat lunch in half an hour when you go to a restaurant. Like you'll be there an hour for sure. So I would have...
Reliability was good with DC. You know, there's a lot of people that talk about, you know...
Yes, but and I didn't know how it's going to be like, so because like obviously I haven't done it before on the DC chargers, but like every DC charger worked. And I have every charging stop I have documented. Like some people complain about it in my videos, that's just all, but for me it's like just important to show like the reality of it. Like I could leave all these charging stops out, but I feel like it would be like, okay, so but that's just how part of it, right? But that way I also have documented every charge. So, and people can say, oh, he's just making this up, blah, blah, blah. But like, no, everywhere I go, like I'll plug it in and it works. Sometimes it doesn't work at the first time because like, but that is mostly because they set up these charging stations differently, and then you have to have a different workflow kind of to activate them. So, which I didn't know. So yeah, but eventually I always got it to work. So, and that's the coolest thing.
So we got power, acceleration, DC charging, and then give us another one.
Okay, 2 more things I have. Right?
Okay, go on. We'll give you the 2 more.
So I like the regeneration of the power from the motor. Like I love that the bike just like brakes automatically, like with the regen. I got so used to it that when I turn it off for some reason, because I'm in a different mode or whatever, I then miss it when I go into the twisties and stuff, because you don't really have to use your rear brake or front brake anymore, because the bike does everything. You just release the throttle and just brake and to recharge the battery, but it would just also brake. And it would, when you use it, like it's just such a cool feeling to do these twisties with that. So I really enjoyed it.
And would you adjust the level on that, or would you stick in one mode, or did you have different modes for different settings? Like what?
At the beginning, I would say like I would always leave it in beast mode, because like I want to have the power. But it's just, which is like true. I kind of want to have this power, but I noticed that like, well, like it has 4 different modes, right? And in the beast mode, the regen is very strong.
Yeah, it's on full. It's on max.
It's on max, so it would like. And that's great when you do like fast, twisty roads and really go for it. So, but it doesn't feel so nice when you just go through the city, or like when you just do like a normal, because it's quite hectic, because you feel it. So, but then you put it in like Zen mode, for example, which I also like. So, and then you just, because it's on low, the regen, you just glide more, So I enjoy that when I do longer stretches. Well, I did my own custom mode where I have the full power, but the regen, I put it on medium. So I have like a bit of both worlds, so to speak. So yeah, but like the longer I rode it, the more I was like changing the modes, and just like I adapted to whatever situation I'm in.
And like almost changing it with your mood, like, if you really wanted to get away.
In the mornings I would be in Zen mode. And then I would change it at the moment, like I would go and find a good road and would change it up, and it's like, it's like launching a rocket a little bit. So yeah, and the other thing is, what I really like is the motor and how, like, and how easily to. Like people saw it in the video, right? We had this problem with the motor. Like there was a fault with the sensor, which can obviously happen. Okay, that's a problem now. Okay, guys, it's now a serious problem, but it's not turning on. And it's starting to rain now. It doesn't do nothing anymore. Fucking hell! Any bike has a problem at some point, right? Any bike, and that's just how it is, right? And what I loved about this, what we did is, and you do that not just for me, right? Like you would do that for your customers now as well. So the thing is, like usually you go to a repair shop and then you have to figure out the problem, and then you have to wait. And what I really loved is that you guys just came and you just swapped out the whole unit and just sent me back on the road like within 24 hours. So I just got a call from Verge, and they're sending out a service technician, and he will be here by tonight. So that's pretty amazing. So yeah, Verge, they have these service vans like all over Europe. I mean, not everywhere yet. Remember, it's just a startup. But this is what they do for their customers. So if there's a problem, they sit a guy in the van and he drives out to the customer and they fix the bike. I think that's pretty amazing. Guys, the bike is done and he's coming back and I can go. And this is now a brand new motor. This guy was not even out for like 4 or 5 hours. Feels like a brand new bike. It's so cool, man. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I can go now. For me, that was just like a game changer. Like, I mean, you can just do that, right? You send out a service unit, and it's like, okay, we'll bring the customer back on the road, like as soon as possible, and then deal with the problem,
Yep.
like, and just fix it, and then swap it out again.
Our service provider then just tested it and diagnosed it. Yes, it was a sensor fault. Because Mark was on the road and outgoing, and obviously he doesn't live in the UK, we thought it was just damage limitation. Let's swap out the motor, put a new motor in there, and then he can get off on his travels while we take the motor back to our factories, fix it up, and then we'll eventually rotate it now back in. So we have service motors and then our customer, obviously, motors. So just ease of access. And because of the modularity, it took our serviceman like no time at all versus...
It was like 2 hours gone in his van, and it was like, okay. And then he came back, and it was like, oh, okay. Because I didn't know what was happening. And I was like, yeah, you can go.
And like full disclosure, obviously Mark's been in connection with us, and we're doing this collaboration together. But the diagnosis was, this is going to take more than the time to keep you from doing what you're doing. So we give you the same service we would give to any other customers, is that let's change this out, let's go fix it, and then when the time comes to replace it back, we will, because all of our motors are the same and they're all interchangeable.
That's the thing, like you can just and you don't feel a difference, right? And that's, I mean, I think that's the coolest thing ever. Like that blew my mind. At that point, it blew my mind because I also didn't know that was even possible. Because I had this issue when I was with my other bike in Asia. Like I also had a motor problem because this happens, So, but apparently that was not so easy to do. Just do that, to just change it out or whatever. So, yeah, I was really impressed with that. So that would be also on the list of the things.
Of the good things.